You remember yesterday I discussed with you the facial technology or facial recognition technology, which had been put together by the Department of Internal Affairs in New Zealand. And as a result of that, it was intended to be used in concert with the Ministry of Health, primarily around vaccine mandates and vaccine passes and things like that. It never got to that, but the work has continued secretly, I might add. It's only recently that documents have been released under the Official Information Act that show that facial recognition technology is still alive and well, as a variety of government departments seek to put together some sort of coherent strategy, which I guess long-term they're going to put to Cabinet and seek some sort of approval or recognition from. The Department of Social Welfare, the old Department of Social Welfare, what I call it now, Ministry of Social Development are involved, Waka Kotahi, Ministry of Transport are involved, Ministry of Health are involved, Department of Internal Affairs. And already there is suggestion that facial recognition technology is being used not just by the police, but also by supermarkets, for example, for reasons and purposes that are not immediately clear to me or to the rest of us. As I said yesterday in discussing this topic, there's a part of me that goes, well, so what? What do you do? I'm not doing anything wrong. But there's also a part of me that goes, at what point did I give my consent to be photographed wherever I go and to have facial recognition technology follow me around? Is it almost like giving us our own number and our own recognition? Is it Big Brother finally entering the 21st century? To join us to talk about this issue, somebody who I actually have a great deal of time with, but is, and as I recall, we went to university, or no, Kathryn went to Canterbury University, as I remember. She was very good at debating and unsurprisingly became a very good lawyer. She's now a privacy lawyer, and she joins us this morning, Kathryn Dalziel. Good morning to you.
Oh, good morning, Michael. Lovely to catch up with you.
That's right, isn't it? You were in the debating team at Canterbury University.
Yes, and you were at Otago University as well.
Yeah,
we also debated in the New Zealand Union debating competition.
Yes,
as well,
that's right. Yes, well, you see. There was always some great evil at hand. It's funny, actually, just before we talk about this, Kathryn, I'm amazed the number of people who were in debating clubs in the 70s and 80s and what they've gone on to.
Yes. Isn't it amazing?
It is stunning. And it's almost like there were only very small numbers ever that did debating on Otago or any campus on the university. But gosh, they've become politicians, prime ministers, heads of government department, head of a reserve bank, now climate change commissioner in Rodcar. Rebecca McPhee, I think, has become sort of the patron saint of the liberal left in this country for all the books she's written. Incredible.
Claire Ryan's a judge.
Claire Ryan, yes, another one. That's right. Your sister.
Yeah. Yes.
Has become a Member of Parliament, Cabinet Minister, and now Mayor of Christchurch. So, yeah.
Indeed. Yeah,
no, they should ban them, and then, then none of this would happen. Kathryn, thank you for joining me this morning on this. You heard my introduction. This facial recognition technology, I think Radio New Zealand, in actual fact, were the ones who used the Official Information Act to find out what's happening in the back. Does it worry you or not? Is there any legislation that protects us? What are the developments that we need to be looking for?
Three there. So, yes, it worries me. I've got significant concerns about how this is going to play out in the future. And it really does need our control, and I'm not sure we've got the legislation there to deal with it yet. So the thing with facial recognition software is it's exactly everything that was imagined in the film Minority Report, where you're walking down the street, you're wearing your virtual reality contact lenses, and you know the name of the person walking past you because of facial recognition. Huge push. Because once you've got facial recognition, then the next thing to do is to align it with other data and to align it with other information. And the big question is, do you need it? Why are we doing this? What are the purposes? And why can't I be anonymous, as you say, when I walk down the street? It's got to the point where you and I can't even walk into a shop without them demanding all of our contact details and email and all that sort of thing. And all we wanted was a pair of jeans. I think we're losing a wee bit of sight of the value of anonymity and just being citizens going about our business.
It's very interesting when you say aligns with other data. The aim here, I think originally, wasn't it, Kathryn, was to make sure that they use the information that's on driver licenses, and they were thinking of using it at the very start of COVID for the purposes of vaccination passes. Is that your understanding? Hello, Kathryn? Oh, we appear to have lost Kathryn.
There now? That seems to have dropped away.
No, you're back. That's good. Sorry. Did you hear me?
Heard the bit about the driver's licence.
Yes, the driver's
like
using that for the Vax passes, yeah. And I guess the question I was asking, Kathryn, was, were you aware of that? Because nobody else was.
I wasn't aware of that at the time, but they've just been releasing the privacy impact assessment now that was done for that. The purposes for that information was to make sure that the person fronting up and having the vaccine was the person that they were identified on their driver's licence.
Yeah.
So it was simply an identification check. Was the purpose of the development of it. And to make sure that no one was sort of coming in and doing this on behalf of another person to get round the legislation.
Right. But where was that going to be used? Where were they thinking of using it? And what? Because that was the bit that I didn't get. Was it supermarkets, hospitals? I couldn't see how it could be rolled out practically, and obviously they couldn't either in the end.
Understanding is that the purposes were solely about identification around the who was getting their vaccine passes. But the problem is that once it's that thin edge of the wedge, that function creep, which is, we've got this, what shall we use it for next, and what are the controls on that? And there still weren't enough controls in place in respect of the database that was being collected. When, remember, you and I were scanning every time we went everywhere. There were no guarantees that wouldn't be released to the police, and if they were investigating something. And so there still weren't enough controls in place there. So for me, it's just about what were the controls in place for function creep. Because otherwise, this just leads on to more government surveillance, and you have that in your life, and then it leads on to and also if it gets into the hands of commercially, it can lead to, and we're seeing it already, the harassment, the stalking, identity theft. That just keeps on growing. So it is really important that we have controls on that, and there is more visibility about these sorts of things. I couldn't agree more about that.
Supermarkets are using it now, I understand, in Northland. That must be for purposes of shoplifting and things like that, I suppose. Does it worry you that it could be actually extended so easily into retail?
Well, the other thing is that we've got cameras up in places already. And people can warning people about that sort of thing, but it's linking it to other data. So it's where have they said, all right, well, there's a picture of Kathryn's face. Where have I got that information to now know that was Kathryn Dalziel in the supermarket at that time? And how am I linking that data? And then what am I going to do with that?
It's my experience, and it's probably yours as well, that bureaucracies tend to carry on in the shadows, and then voila, here it is. Have you been involved at all, or have been consulted at all by any government departments on this issue as a privacy lawyer?
No, they will have. They've got all the government privacy lawyers, and they've got privacy lawyers all throughout all their government departments. So it's rare when this goes out to the private sector, but it does on occasion. So they have got good information or good support in privacy within government agencies, which generally works well. And they also send out privacy impact assessments for looking at, so for example, I'm on the Privacy Foundation of New Zealand, and we quite often get a chance as independent practitioners to look at privacy issues in government and to make comments, which is good.
Okay. And finally, and just completely off the topic, you still resident in Christchurch? Sorry? Oh, we're dropping dropping off. I was going to ask Kathryn, because her sister's retiring as the mayor.
This is dropping out.
Yes, I know, it's bad. I was just going to ask you, your sister's retiring as the mayor. Who do you think's going to be the new mayor of Christchurch if you had to put some money on somebody?
Well, I seriously couldn't tell you which way it's going to go with the election. I'm hearing different things from different people about it all, but I really leave the politics to Leanne. It's her job.
All right, okay. Kathryn, nice to talk to you again. I'd love to make your acquaintance again, and the very best of luck to you in the future.
Cheers.
Okay, bye-bye. So that's Kathryn Dalziel, privacy lawyer, a very good one, I might add. If you ever get into any trouble on privacy, go and talk to her, based in Christchurch.